Welcome to the Quiet Unraveling, where the most terrifying place isn't the dark outside but the darkness within. Original psychological horror stories designed to blur the line between reality and madness. We all have a sense of self, the way we dress, the way we move, the routines we build quietly over years that make us who we are. We think of these things as ours, unique, personal, unreplicable, but what if someone was watching? What if someone was taking notes? What if the person living across the street wasn't just your neighbor, but something far more patient and far more deliberate? Tonight's story is called The Neighbor. Get comfortable, turn the lights down, and think about the last time someone knew something about you that they shouldn't. Nobody paid much attention when the new neighbor moved in. That was the thing about Clearfield Avenue. People kept to themselves, smiled when they passed on the driveway, waved from behind windshields, never asked too many questions. It was that kind of street. So when the woman moved into number 11 on a gray Tuesday morning, nobody thought much of it. Her name was Claire. She introduced herself briefly. Quiet voice, pleasant smile, nothing remarkable. Her neighbor across the street was named Nora. Nora noticed her immediately. It started with small things. Claire's morning routine mirrored Nora's almost exactly. Up at 6:45, coffee on the porch at 7, left for work at 8:20. Nora told herself it was coincidence. Lots of people kept similar schedules. Then she noticed the clothes. Not identical, never identical, but the same colors, the same silhouette, the same general aesthetic that Nora had spent years quietly developing for herself. Gray coats, dark jeans, simple cuts, nothing flashy. She mentioned it to her husband, Paul, who told her she was being paranoid. She let it go for a while. The haircut was what she couldn't dismiss. Nora had worn her hair the same way for 3 years. A specific cut, slightly asymmetrical, something she had found in a magazine and asked her stylist to replicate exactly. 2 weeks after Nora got her latest trim, Claire appeared on her porch with the exact same cut. Not similar. Identical. Nora stood at her window for a long time, just staring across the street. Claire was standing on her porch drinking coffee and looking at nothing in particular. Then she turned and looked directly at Nora's window and smiled. Nora started documenting everything. Dates and times and descriptions written in a notebook she kept in her bedside drawer. Every parallel, every mirrored detail, every moment that felt like looking at a reflection that was slightly out of sync. The list grew faster than she expected. Same gym started going 2 weeks after Nora. Same coffee shop, same order. Same dry cleaner, same brand of car. Different color, but same model, same year. Paul read through the notebook one evening and was quiet for a long time. Then he said it could all be explained by proximity. That people who lived near each other naturally fell into similar patterns. That Nora was connecting dots that weren't meant to be connected. Nora asked him when Claire had started parking in front of their house instead of her own. Paul looked out the window. He didn't have an answer for that. Nora went over to introduce herself properly on a Saturday afternoon. She needed to see her up close. Needed to have a real conversation. Needed to find something that would either explain everything or give her something concrete to be afraid of. Claire answered the door immediately, like she had been standing just behind it. The inside of the house stopped Nora cold. Same paint color on the walls. She recognized it because she had mixed it herself at the hardware store. A custom color, not something available off the shelf. Same print above the fireplace. A limited edition she had ordered online 2 years ago. Same books arranged on the shelf in the same order. Nora stood in the doorway and felt the ground shift underneath her. Claire smiled warmly and offered her coffee. Nora said no thank you and walked back across the street without another word. She called the letting agency that evening, asked about the woman in number 11, how long she had been on their books, where she had moved from previously. The woman on the phone went quiet for a moment. Then she said, "That's strange." Nora asked what was strange. "We don't have a listing for number 11. We never have. That property isn't on our books." "Then who arranged the tenancy?" Silence. "As far as our records are concerned," the woman said carefully, "number 11 Clearfield Avenue has been empty for 2 years. Nora is still on Clearfield Avenue. Paul thinks she has been under too much stress. He thinks the notebook is evidence of an anxious mind finding patterns in coincidence. He thinks she should see someone. He might be right. But last week, Nora came downstairs to find Paul on the phone, laughing at something, comfortable and relaxed in a way she hadn't seen in months. She asked who he was talking to. He said, "Just Claire from across the street." She wanted to borrow a recipe. Nora asked which one. Paul smiled. "Your mother's." the one you never share with anyone. Nora looked out the window. Claire was standing on her porch across the street, holding a coffee cup in her left hand. Nora always held hers in her left hand. Claire raised it slowly in a small, quiet toast, and smiled the smile of someone who was almost done practicing. And that is where the story ends. But here is what I want you to sit with tonight. Not the haircut, not the paint color, not even the recipe that should have been impossible to know. It's that last line, the smile of someone who was almost done practicing, because that implies a finish line, a point at which the practicing stops and something else begins. And what comes after practicing is performance. What comes after performance is replacement. We build our identities over years, layer by layer, habit by habit, the small invisible details that make us irreplaceable to the people who love us. And we never think to protect them, because it never occurs to us that someone might be watching closely enough to take them. If this story got under your skin, hit that like button, share it with someone who lives alone or thinks they do. Subscribe to The Quiet Unraveling for a brand new original psychological horror story every single week, each one designed to blur the line between reality and madness. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you ever felt like someone knew too much about you? I'll see you in the next one.